welcome to the Intel Brief, your daily intelligence briefing on global geopolitics. Today is Friday, 2 August. I'm your host Daniel, the founder of HM Intelligence. Every weekday, we bring you not just the news, but the so what from events and decisions that shape our world. So grab a coffee and get ready to be informed. In today's update, we'll be covering US says opposition candidate beat Maduro in Venezuela, curfews in place amid reports of deaths in Nigeria, and German police stop protesters in Hamburg Airport. So firstly, the United States has recognized the opposition candidate as the winner of the Venezuelan presidential election, citing overwhelming evidence that he secured the most votes. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken stated that the official results announced by Venezuela National Electric Council, which declared President Nicolas Maduro the winner, were deeply flawed and that did not reflect the will of the Venezuelan people. The US criticized the CNE for not providing detailed vote counts and called for a peaceful transition in accordance with Venezuelan electoral law. The announcement sparked protests in Caracas, with the government responding by arresting demonstrators and, according to human rights organizations, resulting in the deaths of 11 people. Opposition leader Maria Masahado, who was barred from the election, claimed that opposition counts showed 6.2 million votes for Gonzalez and 2.75 million for Maduro, contradicting the CNE's reported results of 5.15 for Maduro and 4.45 for Gonzalez. She asserted that the opposition has evidence of Maduro's defeat and called on the international community to reject his illegitimate government. So what? The US has made it very clear for a long time that they do not like Maduro, was closely aligned with Russia, and this move will likely have been done to give the opposition a form of legitimacy in their complaints, hopefully, in the US's mind, leading to them overthrowing the current government. However, countries that support Maduro have shown their willingness to support him with people on the ground, with unconfirmed reports of Russian mercenaries from Wagner and Cuban gangs being shipped in. And next, in Nigeria, tensions remained high today following violent clashes between protesters and police across several cities. The protests, driven by the cost of living and widespread poverty, have led to at least 13 reported deaths, according to Amnesty International, which criticized the police for using lethal force. Local media outlets have reported varying death tolls, with one claiming up to 17 fatalities, while the Inspector General of Police reported there had only been 3 deaths. He emphasized that police were fully mobilized and ready to maintain public order. The protests, organized under a hashtag, saw demonstrators taking to the streets with banners and chants demanding changes from the president, including the reinstatement of gas and electrical subsidies. The unrest, marked by police using live bullets and tear gas, led to a 24-hour curfew in one state following incidents of looting. These demonstrations are part of a broader wave of discontent over living costs affecting other African nations, including Kenya and Uganda, as economic challenges continue to spur public frustration and demand for government action. So what? The Nigerian government likely wants to avoid the types of protests that have been seen in other states around Africa. Sadly, the use of violence is only likely to increase the unrest rather than quell it. Additionally, the issues that are causing the riots, such as the rise of inflation and the cost of living, are not an easy fix for the government, with numerous international conflicts having a part to play in the problem. And lastly, in Hamburg, Germany, police thought an attempt by climate activists to disrupt operations at the city's airport early on Friday morning. Officers stopped a group of cyclists near the airport around 5 a.m., discovering equipment in their position, indicating that they planned to blockade, including bolt cutters, vests, posters, and a sand resin mixture. 4 suspects were detained while others fled the scene, and a 5th individual suspected of planning to film the protest was also apprehended. The police deployed multiple officers and a helicopter to secure the airport's perimeter and prevent any disruption. The airport's operations, however, remained unaffected by the incident. This attempted disruption is part of a resurgence of climate protesters targeting airports in Germany and other parts of Europe. So what? As I've mentioned before in this podcast, I think protests such as this do more damage for their cause than they do good by disrupting the lives of regular people. Though it is likely more can be done by the average person when it comes to climate change, ruining someone's holiday while celebrities fly around in private jets and China builds coal factories is unlikely to be the answer. Their actions, such as these, are unlikely to change the minds of governments, let alone build public support towards their message. Thank you for listening to the Intel Briefing, your daily intelligence brief on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. If you want to support the podcast, tell your friends and help them stay informed, and leave us a 5-star review. Or if you want to learn more about intelligence, why not take one of our courses? They are online, self-paced, and affordable. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.